Hi everyone, this is Mike Doane from Term Management, and today we're going to show you how to do a couple of workarounds for directly importing synonyms or other labels into the SharePoint 2010 taxonomy term store. Here we can see a term called departments, and here we got this thing called other labels. This is typically where you add a new label in. Most often it's a synonym or an abbreviation for this term right here. In this case it might be DEPTS period. The idea is that you're allowing people to enter in other terms, other labels for those preferred terms so they can find them when they're searching for them, to be able to apply them to documents or web pages or whatever it happens to be as they're uploading. So I'm going to go over here and show you this term set I'm going to create called certifications. And here we can see two different ways that are basically workarounds for getting these other labels into the term store. You'll notice that inside of the CSV file there is no column called other labels. So there's no direct way to do this yet in 2010. Hoping that's going to be addressed in SharePoint 2013. Don't know yet. But in the meantime, I've come up with a couple of workarounds that I like to use to get those other labels imported directly, because I do like to build most of my taxonomies out inside of a spreadsheet .csv file to import them in. No way to bring in other labels, so I came up with two different ways. The first way, you see these top four terms, I simply added the acronym at the end of the label itself. So when it imports, it'll look just like that. I can do a cut and paste and pull it out of there. Or you can also import them in under term description. It's a separate field, but the idea here is that you're still able to grab these acronyms once all of this is imported into the term store, and it's a lot easier than having to go one by one and hand enter the other labels, the acronyms, as you bring them in. So let me show you what that looks like in reality when you import it in. So I'll import this term set and go up here and capture that, bring it in, and you can see now the certifications has been brought in as a term set. Here you can see our first term. I've got the acronym at the end, and once again I'll flip back to the spreadsheet. You can see that term right there that we brought in is this term right here. I can go ahead and double click on that and cut it, and if I paste it into this field here and do a save, what it's doing now is it's brought the acronym. We got the acronym now associated with the default label. I can do the same thing down here for the Army Basic Instructor course. You notice this time, however, instead at the end of the term, it's brought into this description field. And again, I'll show you how that works. That right there inside of the spreadsheet this is what happens when you import it in. Once again, I can just do a cut and come down here and paste it. I've done basically the same thing in both instances here, is that I've got the acronym pulled off of the import and I put it into the other labels. Here I've done the same thing. I've got the other labels here. So in this case I can come up here, and if I'm going to do a search later on, I'm a user, and I type in ANSI, you can now see that ANSI is, let's try this again, ANSI. You can now see that ANSI is indeed inside the parentheses, indicates that it's another label. So if I ran across this as I was tagging a document inside of my SharePoint site, this is a clue that if I type in ANSI, if I click that, that tag will be applied to the document. It'll pick up the actual preferred term, which is American National Standards Institute. But in reality, what I did was I imported it this way. Same thing with ABIC or these other terms. So what I've shown you is two different ways to import in from a .csv file when you bring in a term set like certifications. I've shown you two different ways to bring in the acronyms that go along with it, and then you can go ahead and just do cut and paste to convert that to the other labels. So that's it for this blog post, talking about how to import other labels directly with a spreadsheet into the term store, plus a little bit of cut and pasting helps you to get those acronyms imported directly as opposed to doing them one by one.